culture might tell us to be violent. There's a lot of violent imagery, but that doesn't mean that we don't have the responsibility to not actually do that.
Right. Except that there are major industries in place that are like deeply invested in us playing out those roles, right? Industries that want us to buy their shit, So women having to like look nicer and go out and sort of like wear makeup and put the whole costume on before they go is like directly linked to capitalism, right? And we cannot ignore the fact that like all of these systems are really like have their eyes on us, and like are really, really invested in us learning those roles so that we continue to like partake in citizens.
But then,
yeah, but I still think yes. I definitely agree that these if we were talking about like the institution of capitalism, that's like very much coming in from that. But I also think like I don't know, like I'm just using my personal experience of like growing up in a very, very, very conservative area, but being able to where that was the system kind of being pressed upon me in terms of like I think in terms of like masculinity, but also in terms of political beliefs and everything. And I very much I think without much maybe well of course there's influence coming from culturally of like other like liberal influences or other like whatever influence are coming, but I think I very much I think it's my personal experience and with the belief that like you will believe what you want to believe and you can believe what you want to believe even if this system and like maybe that's just a personal thing for very much for me, but I feel
and
like
did someone teach you that?
I think I had to teach myself as a reaction against the system, but it wasn't. I don't think there was a system. Maybe there was a system teaching me to, but I think it was for me. It's always felt for me very individual and very instinctual. I would say.
I think for men especially that becomes harder. I don't feel like our culture teaches men to be super deep thinking or reflective. I don't think there are a lot of cultural messages about that. So the fact that you are able to do that is a real gift to you. And I don't think it's fair to say that just sort of everybody should be able to do that.
Right, and I definitely I agree with that. I think it's something where it's like I think this is a very personal thing for me, which has been great. But I think it's also I think human beings are kind of like why like we're naturally wired to do what makes us happy in a lot of ways, and we're not going to like as an individual I'm not going to deliberately do something in most contexts that's going to make me extremely happy. When it gets to that point, that I feel like
Isn't what makes us happy though like following the group, because like it's just gonna be a harder deal to like do the opposite of everyone. So it's gonna make me happy just to like do what's like set up for me already, so I don't like make any waves.
Well, I think making waves. I think individually making waves can find happiness in terms of thinking. In terms of thinking about like okay, for example, I think it's if we're talking about a female culture of validation. I think it's a male. There's a male culture of kind of rejection or denial or disvalidation in terms of like boys aren't supposed to cry, boys aren't supposed to play with dolls, boys aren't supposed to. Yeah.
I don't think that's true. I think some people like making waves. Like, I mean, this is a silly example, but I mean, in high school, everyone took Spanish, and I was like, I don't want to take Spanish because everyone else is taking Spanish, so I'm going to take sign language. But I mean,
did you get validated for that?
Not really.
Right. So you're not getting validated. So I think there's no reason for people to do it. And that's how like
sometimes maybe it's not instant validation, but maybe if following the group is making you unhappy and you make waves and those waves end up
What about personal validation?
okay.
Why should we look for validation outside of ourselves? If we are making a choice that causes waves or whatever, say I took sign language instead of Spanish. Okay, maybe people aren't going to be like, great, you're doing something different. But I, inside myself, can say, well, I wanted to do something that was not the norm, or that was, I wanna do something that is my interest,
Right.
you know?
Yeah, I think that that is like a good decision and like perhaps the right decision, but I don't think that that's what people are gonna do. And I don't think that like that's overall like how to like fix a certain problem, because
Right.
like you're gonna be able to maybe do that, but then you doing it doesn't like tell necessarily someone else because it's for yourself, it's not for the group.
Yes. You're right, and so are you. Awesome, you guys. Good playing. Talk. There's a lot in there, and